Mr. Shoels, say your first and last name and who you are.
My name is Michael Shoels, and I'm just a father, victimized. I'm just going to get started right up front. I'm a father that was victimized by this plague that's going on in America today, and that's violence. I mean, so that's who I am. I'm the father of Isaiah Shoels. He was one of the victims that was taken out so early in his life behind this plague that's going on in America today. Not only here in America, but we talking about the whole world now. I mean, we need to bring it back together and understand that it's destruction is coming to us. But we're going to get into that later.
We'll get into that.
Okay. What I really want to say, first of all, is we want to give our deepest condolences to those families who have lost children and lost all loved ones behind this plague that's going on in America today, and that's violence. We want to give our deepest condolences to those families because we have been there where they are today. So we know how they feel. So we give our deepest condolences to those families. Yeah. All right.
And you've been living this grief for 25 years.
Yes, it still is. I mean, it's no accident that I make 2 trips to Colorado a year to visit my son. I mean, I absolutely no ifs and buts about it, because it's my responsibility to make sure that his place stay neat and clean and presentable. So I make that that's a duty. That's not only something I want, that's my duty to do that.
Who was Isaiah?
Oof. Beautiful. He was energetic. I mean, he was humorous. I mean, any man in the world, I ain't gonna say America, here in Tennessee, where any man in America, in the world, would love to have him as a son, because he was a respectful young man. He understood what life was, even at his age. So all I can say, he was Mr. Beautiful.
Mr. Beautiful.
Mr. Beautiful, that's it.
What were his likes? What did he like to do?
Everything. Most of all, he loved making people laugh. I mean, that was his thing. I mean, he was a jokester. I mean, he had it. He was a natural. I mean, he could have been one of the biggest and one of the greats. But he didn't have a chance to prove it. He didn't have a chance to make it. So we can only assume, or should I say, we can only wonder if he would have made it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's all we can do about that.
I think I read somewhere he liked music, like you.
Oh, well, most definitely. I mean, that's in his DNA. I mean, because, I've been in music. I was in music before they even got here. You know what I'm saying? I've been a music producer ever since 1980. Wow. And a music executive. And it have had its ups and downs, but I had it together at the time of this tragedy. You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, we was getting ready to sign a real big deal at the time of this tragedy.
A record deal.
Mm-hmm. And what it is when this happened, it just took everything away from me. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, it just drained everything, because that was my legacy. You see, when I found out that he no longer breathes, that took everything away. That made everything, you know what I'm saying? I hate to say it and sound selfish, but that almost made me forget everything, But I had to struggle because we are family. I mean, I had other family that needed me at the time, you understand? And I had to stand strong. Even though it hurts me, it still hurts right now to talk about it, but it needs to be talked about. Because this disease, or should I say, this anger and anxiety and hatred that's causing these kids to kill one another needs to stop. And they need to understand that life is only for a season. And they need to try to live it as long as they can. See, and that's what we don't let slip through the cracks. We done swept all these things up under a rug, and now they done fessed it up. Now they coming back out. Like an old saying. I hate to quote other things, but like an old saying said, the hen that came home to roost. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what's going on. I mean, now we just need to start doing something about it. You understand? And I mean, but you probably want to know what we are doing today, my family. And all I can say is one day at a time. Because I'll be lying if I say we only came up with some closure. I'll be lying if I say we done found a path to where we can heal. We're going that way. I mean, believe me, we are human and we are fighting that way. We haven't stopped living because we know you need to keep living to live. You understand what I'm saying? So we are fighting to stay as normal as we can, but we'll never, ever be able to replace that link that's been torn away from this family chain. That's just all there is to it. So let's just get that out the way, and let's just not even talk about that no more, because that is gone. That's a beautiful part of this family that was taken way too early behind this disease. This disease that we call violence today, you see. So until we start working on an antidote for this disease, it's gonna get worse. And like they say, like cancer, like gangrene, like I'm gonna give all these names, so that's how bad it is today. It's gonna fester, it's gonna keep on growing, till it's gonna get out of hand. And when that happens, we know what happens when some blow up, right? It's gone. And that's what's going to happen to us if we don't start working on the roots of our foundations. You see what I'm saying? And the children are our future. And the children are the roots of our nation. And if we keep on letting them get killed, or we keep on letting them die so early, what we going to do?
Michael, how long did you live in Littleton?
I stayed in Littleton 3 years before this happened.
3 years before?
Yeah, 3 years before it happened.
And you had other children that went to Columbine High School as well.
Well, my son Anthony, he's a Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force right now. And my daughter that was in there, she's a cell executive. So, and my other son, my baby son, he's an engineer. And of course, my oldest daughter, Natasha, she's there in Phoenix, but she's a sales executive also. So
very successful.
Yeah. But so we kept our end of the bargain. We did the best we could with what we had left. Right. And me and my wife struggle still today about our grandchildren. But like I say, sometimes things happen. Family don't do what, family falls apart. Mm-hmm. And we're there to collect the village. See, that's what we have to do all over the world. We're going to have to come back together. We're going to have to stop letting the government put their part in it. Us, the people, need to start being the people again. And when we start being the people again, we're going to realize that we need each other. And if we find out if we can find each other again, this is going to be a better nation. Until we can find each other, it's going to be hell. It's going to be a living hell until we find one another. The secret is, it was built this way. It was built for everyone to help and assist and network and assist each other. It wasn't help to tear each other down. It wasn't help to see I have more than you. It wasn't help to see if I kill you, I'm going to take what you got. And then, it wasn't built like that. It was built for us to come together as a unit. And see, therefore, we can prove to our children that there are other things you can do without going out there creating this disease. Until we find each other and bring that village back together, this disease is going to keep on going.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about village and community. So immediately after this tragedy, what was it like for you and your family while you were still in this community?
I don't like downing anyone. I don't like downing any situation because I don't use that as a crutch. You understand what I'm saying? I don't use anything that's going to bring someone else or something down. If I can't help it rise, I can't help it get up, I'm going to step back. Because I'm not ever, never going to be the cause of someone be put down. Even though a whole lot of situations cause that, but I'll never be part of it. You understand what I'm saying? And I figure if we all get that attitude, this will be a better place. I mean, it's like this here. I have an old saying. It ain't what I feel, this what's real. Because we got to deal with reality today. You better put them feelings aside because that's why America is in the situation we're in today. It's these feelings. You understand what I'm saying? And we don't let these children put these feelings ahead of themselves. That's why they're creating these things that's going on in these schools. That's why they're creating these things going on in the churches. That's why they're creating these things going on in the movies. That's why they created, I can go on and on.
You said it's not what you feel, it's what's real.
It's what's real.
So what was your reality then at that time?
My reality at that time, it was terrible. I mean, I had faith in the system.
Okay.
Not too much, but I had faith in the system. And I put my guards down. Only because I heard one thing saying, if you are able to do something, do it if you want to do it. If you're able to do it. Now, I didn't say go out there and do something that you wasn't able to do that you're trying to do. I'm saying if you're able to do it. And I did it. I took my family to a situation that probably shouldn't have did it, but I did.
Why shouldn't you have?
Well, I mean, because under the circumstances, I mean, we had problems after we got there with this certain group of children. You know, by my children being minorities in this school. I mean, and you know, in this district, I mean, it was an upscale district. I mean, a beautiful place. That's one thing that captured us. I mean, it's a beautiful community, but it's sick. The people, some people are beautiful. I mean, they just don't let their children get away. And I believe that that's what happened. You see what I'm saying? That's why these parents are going to have to start being more accountable for their children. Start getting them when they're babies. You understand what I'm saying? Start getting them before they start talking back, before they start telling you what to do. You see what I'm saying? That's when you need to get them. You know, let them know that that's not the way to go. I mean, you're going to have to listen to me. I'm daddy, or I'm mommy, whoever, you know. You're going to have to start respecting your elders. You see what I'm saying? That's what we need to start teaching these babies, these children. You
were one of the first to call for accountability from the parents of the shooters.
Uh-huh.
Was that a lonely walk?
Well, it varies. It still is. And what made me stand up and really feel that something is going to happen, and something is going to get done, is when they got them parents there in Michigan. I hate to speak against them, but bless their hearts. I mean, they probably were doing what they figured they had to do, but see, they let their children dictate. Now, it's no way that that's in their mind that they said, I'm going to go buy him a gun to take to school. I promise you, he asked them to get him a gun so he could take it to school. See, I promise you that's what happened. And they have to be accountable for what he did. And I think that the right thing was done. They needed to be accountable. So they have to do what everybody else do. When you be the cause of murder, you go down. And I think that was the best thing that could have happened. Because I really believe that if that would have happened back in 1999, some accountability, we wouldn't be having a whole lot of these shootings going on today.
What do you wish would have happened?
I wish there would have been more accountability. I mean,
What did that look like for you?
the way it looked is somebody, it was a conspiracy. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, everybody know I've been saying it, but I hate to keep using that as a crutch. I mean, I know for sure that you don't have a crime where people have been murdered and you ordered the timeline to be destroyed. I know for sure that you don't take the film, the actual film that you took in the school, and take it and have it edited before you let somebody see it.
You wanted to see the unedited.
I wanted to see the unhit, but we was never able to see it. So, now what you think? I mean, you know what I'm saying? When you breathe, swell it, you're going to get swell it. And what I mean by that, when you breathe hell, you get hell.
You were heavily criticized.
Yes, and still is. I mean, I know that.
What do people say?
I know people talk about I'm that dude that has tried to do this and do that and talking about he don't know what he's talking about. He's just speaking out of turn. I mean, you can't run your own kids, and I done heard all of that. But that's not a situation with me. That's not a problem with me, because I can take criticism. Matter of fact, I love it. Because the more you criticize me, the better I'm going to work to keep you from criticizing me. So that means that I'm going to get better in one way or another. It might not be the way you like it, but I'm going to get better. So that's where I see it.
You've also been accused of using the race card immediately.
I mean, I wouldn't have been out there where I was if I was that. You understand what I'm saying? If I didn't believe people can work together, ain't nowhere in the world I'd have put my babies out there. If I didn't believe people can be together, to cooperate, I wouldn't have put my babies out there. Because I could have went anywhere. I didn't have to go out there. So I don't want to, I mean, they can say what they want to say about that. Let it so be. But the point is, I lost my child. The point is, he was a beautiful soul that was gone way too early. You understand what I'm saying? And that'll never change. So I want these families to know, I'm praying and hoping that they find a way to get better. I mean, believe me, because I've been there where they are. And we have to fight every day to keep our sanity going, because he was a very important part of this family. We had big plans for him. He was going to be one of those that take us to the next level. You understand what I'm saying? And they destroyed that for me. They destroyed that for my family. They destroyed our world when they knocked him off like that, because they stopped me from doing what I was doing, because I was no longer able and mentally or physically able to do what I was doing, dealing with those, dealing with certain acts and dealing with certain people. I wasn't able to do that anymore. And I put it in someone else's hands, and we see what happened. We see what happened with that. I'm sitting here 25 years later, wishing I would have did, shoulda, woulda, and coulda. Now I'm at the point where I need to do it. It's not a want. It's not a have to. It's my duty to do something about it now. It's been 25 years and I've been quiet. I've been subtle. My family ain't bothered nobody, and we just got in our little corner and tried to make it ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? But it's gonna come to the point that somebody got to start talking about it. Us as a people gonna have to say enough is enough. We need to come on and bring this village back together, and let's save our children. That's what we're gonna have to do.
And speaking of the village, are you in touch with any of the other families that were
I not personally, but I have my sister. She stays in touch with everyone, because see, we're actually not there. You see what I'm saying? And we don't know what's going on there. And to be honest with you, we try to stay our distance until we can face it. It's hard for me to go back to Denver. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's hard for me to go back. But I have to. It's my duty to go back. My baby is buried there. That's where his final resting place is, and I have to make sure that he's okay. I used to put him to bed at night, and I still put him to bed. I do it every time I go. I do it every time. It's must. I have to. Rain, sleet, or snow, I have to go. I will make two trips a year. Under no circumstance, I'll make 2 trips a year to visit my baby. We do as a family. My wife, I, and you know, our children. We do that twice a year.
So it's hard to, obviously it's hard to physically go back to that place, and it's hard for you to speak with other families.
Oh yeah, it's time for me to, it's time.
It's time.
It's time. And I wouldn't have accepted this interview. I'm gonna be honest with you. As y'all can see, I'm not joking. We've been behind the scenes for 25 years, you know, not bothering nobody, not getting into nobody's situation. But now it's time. When I go to seeing babies dying, I mean, we talking about babies at Sandy Creek, that particular one. And we got just this one in Nashville. When you go to seeing babies, now we talking about babies dying from gun violence. It's time. It's time for somebody to do something. And by my son being one of those victims, I feel it's my duty to start it out. I think it's my duty to say, let's start stomping out this hate. Let's start stomping out this violence. Let's claim victory back. Let's get our government is strong and doing what they need to do, but stay out of the kids' business. You understand what I'm saying? We need to come together as a family. We need to come together as a village and win our children back. That's what we need to do. Until that happens, we're going to keep on going through this plague, violence.
When was the last time you did an interview?
About 13 years ago. 13 years ago, and I didn't want to do that one, but my wife told me I had to. It's because there was it was time to come out of my shell because I was really doing bad at this time. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing a whole lot better. Believe me, I'm doing a whole lot better. But mentally, I was doing really, really bad at this time because, you know, no matter how you know it's not your fault that your child get taken away. So I know where these families is coming from. I don't care how you know it's not your fault, but the guilt and the pain and the anxiety and the sadness and the madness all get bottled up together. You got a stew going on and it ain't gonna work. And that's what was going on with me.
What made you decide to do the interview with me?
At Nashville shooting. When I seen them carrying them babies out. That's what did it. And I think now that was the pinnacle of me. You better open your damn mouth. Oh, you better open your mouth. Because it's time. It's time. I'm going to start calling out to these families. I mean, there's the lost people that know how it feels to lose someone. We need to come together. I don't care where we are in America today. I don't care where we are in the world. If you hear this, I'm crying out for y'all to call me or call someone to get in contact with me. Let's get together. Let's start talking about this. Let's do it as a nation. Let's get this village back together. Just maybe, we're not too late to save our children.
That's powerful.
Yes. And I meant that from my heart.
So you're ready now
I'm ready.
To continue speaking
I'm
out.
ready. This Let's Stomp Out Hate, it's finna be dormant again. It's finna open back up. I'm finna open it back up. It's a nonprofit organization that I had going all over the world, and not only in America, but all over the world. Now I'm finna start it back. Because it's time for us to bring this village back together. And I'm not only talking about your ethnic group, I'm talking about us. We all brothers and sisters when you look at it. We all members of the same race. That's the human race. It shouldn't be no ethnic color, shouldn't be no different blood, because me and you probably even have the same blood. Me and Mike probably have the same blood. But the point is, the skin shade color. That's why they say I use that as race card. I don't use a race card. I'm just real. I took my feelings out of it a long time ago. So it's not what I feel, it's what's real. And I deal with reality. I don't deal with hopeful. I deal with reality, what's going on now. And if you don't fix now, later you can forget it. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't fix the past or you don't fix the present, the future is gone. That's what I mean. And that's what I mean by our babies. If we don't fix the roots, we don't dig that up and start putting new fertilizer in and around them children, letting them know that life is important, well, we might as well go and start letting it crust over and just wait till it's dead. That's what we need to do. But if y'all are ready to take this village back, if y'all are ready to grab hands, I don't care where you are in the world today, let's grab hands and let's make a connection. Let's see if we can get our victory back. Let's see if we can get our children back. Let's see if we can move the government out of the family business. Let's do it.
Michael, do you have any regrets when it comes to this tragedy in particular?
I have regrets when it comes to all tragedies because I always feel like I could have did something about it if I'd have started speaking, if I'd have started screaming out to these children, because I can get with children. I know how to get through to children. You understand what I'm saying? I done did so many things. I done dealt with so many groups. I done coached football. I done coached baseball. I done coached my son from on up to where he got. You understand what I'm saying? So I know how to deal with children. And if you don't start at the root, or you don't start them where they can understand, you got to get, people don't understand. All they want to say is guns this and guns that and guns this and guns that. It's not the guns killing these kids. It's the kids killing the kids. And the reason that's happening is because of the psychic. It's because of what they're thinking. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you don't get in the psychic, well, you can forget it. Because this shell ain't going to do nothing but follow what the psychic say do. If it's something, tell you to do something, you're going to do it. That's why these things is going on in these schools today. That's why it's going on in these malls. I mean, they feel like that's something they need to do. They don't have to do that. You see what I'm saying? It's got something that caused them to do that. And it might be mental capacity sometimes, but it was taught. See, a whole lot of people don't understand. A whole lot of this stuff should have not been, but it was taught at home. You understand what I'm saying? And I hate to bring it back up 25 years ago, but them swastikas didn't put themselves on them walls. Them skulls and bones didn't put themselves on my walls that we was having our house being built. That's why we ended in Houston. We were having a house built in Denver, Colorado, in Green Valley Ranch, and someone vandalized the house before we even they put the paneling and stuff in it.
This is after Isaiah died?
Yeah. They put skulls and bones all through the house. And they painted the windows. Now, this is a brand new house.
There were swastikas too?
Yeah. We know what, they let us know that we needed to get out of there. And I did. I wasn't putting my family in no more jeopardy. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I was by myself, they would have had hell to tell the captain to kill my baby. But I had other family to think about. So we left that. We got out of there.
You mentioned you don't have any closure. I do want to ask about forgiveness. Have you forgiven the shooters and their parents?
Oh. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put it this way.
Okay.
Through our Father God, Jehovah, I have to forgive them. But I promise you, I'll never forget it because they should have did something about it. They shouldn't have never, ever let them children tell them what to do. I would never, ever let a child dictate my reality. I would never, ever do it. And they shouldn't have did it. And the parents in Michigan shouldn't have did it. That's why they paying for it, which they should have paid for it. You understand? Now, I didn't want to say it like that, but I said it.
But that is a difference from
Yeah.
25 years ago. You were asked that same question,
Yes.
and you said no, you didn't forgive at that time.
Uh-huh.
And now you're saying you are forgiving.
Yeah, but I can't forget it, and I will never forget it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because they shouldn't have did what they done. I don't have my son today. If they just would have called authorities and said my children is messing up, they're getting ready to do something, my baby would be here today. My whole world would be different. You see what I'm saying? So now it's time for me, it's my duty to start talking about it.
I don't know how comfortable you are going back to that day. So you let me know where you are mentally with this. But when did you find out that this had happened? And what was your reaction? What did you do?
Well, I was in my office at the house. I was going on some paperwork, finishing up the contracts and things that we was getting ready to take out to L.A. And my wife got a phone. I heard the phone ring. And my wife screamed. She screamed, "Mike, we gotta go." And I'm just like every other person. When I'm at my house, I'm in my pajamas, and if I ain't got to go, I wasn't supposed to leave until that evening, that night. that late evening. So I was getting everything together, waiting so I can talk to the kids. I'm gonna get dressed and wait on the kids to get in, so we can, I can say my goodbye. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What I do normally when I get ready to leave. And she screamed and said, "There's been a shooting." "There's been a shooting? What you talking about?" "Up at the school," and she didn't have to say nothing else. I had my house shoes on and my robe and my pajamas. I was hit the door. And she screamed and said, "Mike, you can't go nowhere like that." I said, "Yes, I am. I'm finna go." And I went up there. I initially went up there in my pajamas and house coat. And she told me that she was still firm. She told me I need to change. And I did. I went back and changed. And we went in and we started running into the school trying to find out what was going on. And so on and so on and so on. You understand what I'm saying? It led on into, it was just, I don't want to talk about that part.
You were able, after you got there, to locate your other children who were attending.
Yeah, we met up with them that night. That's after we had found out that they, my son's coach, one of his coaches, was very fond of him, and we was all friends, kind of, sort of, you know what I'm saying. And when he got that phone call, he looked directly. Me and him made eye contact. And when I looked at him and he looked at me, tears came to both our eyes because we know that was it. They had found it, and he was with those that they found. That's when that was late that evening when we found out that he's no longer in the land of the living. Yeah.
I know afterward there was an outpouring of community support. His funeral was the largest, the last one, but the largest funeral.
Well, a few friends of mine came to perform, one particular, the Silk. I had them to come, I gave them the opportunity to come perform, for them.
And pay tribute.
Yeah, pay tribute, yeah.
What were your last moments like with your son?
I'm going to talk about it because this needs to be said.
Okay.
I was sitting on my bed, me and my wife, she was helping me get my stuff together, help me pack or whatever, getting my stuff together. And he came to our bedroom, and he had his Bible. His Bible and his Wesley Snipes picture, an autographed picture, he had it. And he kept both of them together at all times. All the time, because if he wasn't reading the Bible, he kept that picture. He used it as a marker in the Bible. I figured that's what he was doing, because it always changed pages. I hate to say it, but I'm a snoop when it comes to my children. I always know what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Ain't no place in my house that I can't look. Mm-hmm. That's where a whole lot of parents need to start being. It shouldn't be no place in your house where you can't look or ask the questions about. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. And he came to our room that night, and he had his Bible, and it had that Wesley Snipes picture. And he gave it to his mother. And I had the strangest feeling went over me then. He gave his Bible and that picture to his mother and said, "Here, Mom, I'm not going to need this anymore." And when he said that, I turned around and asked him, I said, "Son, what are you talking about?" I said, "Everybody needs the Bible." He said, "I'm not going to need it anymore." I said, "Come on, son, what you talking about?" He said, "I'm not going to need it anymore." And he walked off. And that's the last time I seen my son alive. That night, when he walked off, he told my wife, I had stayed up pretty late because I was trying to get ready to go. So I slept in. And my wife told him that I just went to bed. He said, "Tell Dad I want him to cut my hair this evening. And when I get home," I told him, and I said, before he leaves. She said, "Tell Dad I want him to cut my hair before he leaves." And I told her, of course, I said I would. And I didn't get up to go see him off. And thank God 2 of them made it. 2 of my children made it out. Because I don't know if I could have really kept it together if I'd have lost all 3 of my babies in that school. I don't think I would have been able to keep it together. I mean, I'm doing a pretty good job at it now, but I think it's time for us to start making a change. Like they always say, stop talking and let's start walking.
Isaiah would have graduated that May.
Oh yeah, I buried him in his cap and gown because that's one reason we were still there. He asked us to let him stay there because we had packed up. We was getting ready to move. We had a situation going on at the other side of town, and that's the only reason we did. And you can see that everybody tell you, man, we had boxes everywhere. We was packed up, ready to go.
What was, if you don't mind me asking, the situation on the other side of town?
I don't know. We were having the house built.
Oh, okay. So you were,
but
you wanted to keep him in the district.
Yeah, he wanted to stay with he wanted to walk with his friends. The people he went to school with. He wanted to walk with them. And he begged us. I mean, now that's a regret. If I ever had one, that was a regret right there because we should have said no. You understand what I'm saying? We, as parents, should have said no. Like a whole lot of these parents today, they need to start saying no. You understand? We should have said, no, we leaving. He'd still be here today. I say he probably would still be here today. 9 times out of 10 he would. Because all he wanted to do is just stay there for 3 weeks. All he did 3 weeks. Within the 3 weeks he's supposed to stay there, he was gone. He was a dead man. And it almost took me out. Now I'm going to be honest with you, it almost took me out when you sit there and go to the morgue, go to the funeral home and they won't let you see your son in the morgue because there's so much controversy going on. They won't let you come in the morgue to see him. You got to wait till he get to the funeral home to look at your son. You see what I'm saying? And that was bad. That was really, really bad. No man, no woman, no human being, person, period, should have to see their kids laying there behind somebody else's bullet that he didn't even have nothing to do with. You understand what I'm saying? He had no idea. When they came in that school, they talking about I'm using a race card. When they came in that school, they know who they was called looking for. And if they say I'm playing a race card, let them say it. They said, where's that little nigga? What else did they be talking about? My son he was a pretty popular kid there in school. And he was supposed to be eating lunch that day. But he wasn't in the cafeteria. That's why they came through the cafeteria, because they know he was supposed to be there. But he wasn't there. He went up to the library with another student, with one of his friends, and they was getting some kind of essay together. That's why they found him in the library. See, now let's tell the truth. You understand what I'm saying? Let's be real about this thing. Now, I didn't want to get to this part, but when you brought it up, you just brought it back to me. You understand what I'm saying? I try to forget it, but you can't forget that. You knowing that they killed your baby and they didn't want to do nothing about it? No, come on now. Come on.
Did you feel that was a hate crime?
I don't have to feel that. The world knows it was a hate crime. You got swastikas all the way through the school. You got this one particular group running around there just demolishing our minority children, throwing them in trash cans, putting them in lockers, throwing them down the boundaries at school. You see, they were doing all kind of things, and they wasn't doing anything about this.
So this was consistent bullying.
Yes, and they wasn't doing anything about it. That's why my son got fed up with it. He's like his daddy. He got to figure he's gonna do something about it if he keep on going. And he kept on going. And when they touched his brother and sister, that was the pinnacle. That was it. He just told them, man, y'all need to leave us alone. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it, but he did. He said, y'all need to leave us alone. He told me what he was gonna tell them. You understand what I'm saying? I knew they were picking. That's why I went to the school. We went to the school district and told them that this stuff was going to happen. You know what they told us? Let our kids grow up and go to class. He grew up all right. He'll never grow no more because he's gone. Y'all, because they said let him grow up. Let our kids grow up. We let them grow up, and look where they are.
I know that obviously there were other victims that were not Black or Latino or a minority.
Yes, and I feel for those. I mean, because a whole lot, as you do your background and do your history on them, you'll find out that they was accused of being friends with the enemy, the minority. And some of them was minority students that got killed. You see what I'm saying? So all of this was it was supposed to be more kids, it was supposed to be more of them gone. But thank God that for that teacher, he saved a whole lot of them and changed this whole thing around. Coach Sanders. If it wasn't for him, he'll always be a hero in my mind because he saved my child. He stood in front of my child and directed her the other way.
Your daughter, he saved your daughter.
My daughter, yes. And she told us this. My daughter still loved this man because he saved her life.
Wow.
He pushed her and told her to go the other way. And he turned to start assisting other children, and that's where he met his demise right there. After he told my children, he told those girls, told my children, told them to run the other way. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just going to tell you the truth. That's just going to get it out now. I can talk about it now.
Yeah.
I can talk about it now.
Wow. How coping with grief, with loss is one thing, but how did you help your children who survived this try to move forward?
Well, they had to be homeschooled. We all knew. I mean, after something like that, they had to be homeschooled. I ain't no ifs, ands, buts about that. But we stayed together. Mm-hmm. We know if we just stayed out like this here, it was gonna break us up. You understand what I'm saying? But we did this. We come together, and we said we're gonna keep this village together. We're gonna do what's right for the family. And Isaiah wouldn't have wanted y'all to stop. Isaiah wouldn't have wanted us to stop, which we couldn't do no more. We had to, because he was our son. He would have wanted y'all to push on. And that's what we put in their heads. And that's what they did. It was hard. And we all get together and still talk about it. I mean, we all cry together. We still do the same thing. I mean, like you said, it's like he's here, but he's not. You understand what I'm saying? He's within all of us. You know what I'm saying? So when we get together, he's there with us. I don't know if you know the feeling I'm talking about, mm-hmm. But when we all get together as family, it's almost like he comes and sit down with us. You see what I'm saying? Because everything that's said, everything that's talked about, it's not directed at him, but it's just like he's sitting there with us. You understand what I'm saying? He'll come up in the conversation. You see what I'm saying? So that's love. That's family love. You know what I'm saying? That's what keeps a family together. That's what these families that's being torn away by this violence, that's what I can give them. Keep strong. Keep your family by you. You see what I'm saying? Keep your family with you, because those are the ones going to help you keep this village together. And you can't do anything once your village is destroyed. Family have to stay together. If you just bond together when this stuff happens, you'll stay together.
You mentioned visiting Denver twice a year. I know at one point you talked about possibly moving Isaiah. Is that still a consideration?
Well, no, because we discussed that, and if that was the case, he'd have been moved 3 times. You see what I'm saying? Due to the time, because we were going. I mean, even though we could, but we didn't. So we thought it was just best to leave him in his final resting place. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because at this time we was intending to stay in Denver. So we picked a particular place out, and it was just a small little tree, about like that, by his grave. Mm-hmm. Now that tree is big. You see what I'm saying? That tree done grown. And that makes me feel like, that's something there is still growing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that might sound crazy to you. It might sound crazy to a whole lot of people. But to me, that tree represents growth. You see what I'm saying? And ain't no way I can move him now if I wanted to. You see what I'm saying? That tree represents growth. Because it's right there at his headstone. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So therefore, I couldn't move him if I wanted to.
I've got a few more questions for you. Who do you think Isaiah would be today? What would Isaiah be doing?
Well, if we'd have stayed on track, he'd been a big-time music executive. He'd been, because he took over for me, and I promise you, he'd have made it way better than I could have thought I could do it. And he probably would have been a comedian, probably would have been in the movies right now. Because he had the goods. You understand what I'm saying? He had the goods. I asked him to come on and join me after he got out of school, but you know what he said? He said, "No, Dad, I want to go to school. I want to go to college." He said, "You got enough paper between you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are doing okay. Let me go to school and put the degree in the company." You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He wanted to put the degree in the company. So, in other words, he wanted to bring the school into the company. He said, "How could you ask somebody else to go to school when you didn't go?" Am I right or wrong? So that's the kind of son that I had.
Is there any, and you've shared quite a bit, but is there any advice that you can give to families that have been through what you've been through?
Only thing I'm going to say right now is I hope they're listening to me. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's going to keep a family sane is to be with family. And the only way you're going to be with family, they don't have to be your blood family. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. They don't have to be your ethnic group. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They don't have to be black. They don't have to be white. They don't have to be yellow. You understand what I'm saying? All they have to do is be a member of our race. 2 legs, 2 arms, whatever. The human race. Because really, once you look at it, we all sisters and brothers. You see what I'm saying? We might look different, but under the skin, baby, you the same as everybody else. Your body structure is just like some and most like others. You understand what I'm saying? So what we need to do is we all need to just call out to each other. I'm not only talking about the ones that lost loved ones through this violence. I'm talking about everybody. If you feel like this world needs a change, let's start talking about it. And like I said, be looking up for it because it's starting a new organization. It's not new, but I'm going to get ready to start it back up. And it's Let's Stomp Out Hate Before It's Too Late in the name of Isaiah Shoels.
And I already asked you what you would say to the shooters' families. What would you say to the other Columbine families?
They know it's been long enough, and they probably done went through a lot of hesitation by this whole matter, by being they kids that caused this situation. Should I say some of their children? I'm always say that, and we know it's different, but anyway, we know they wasn't the main cause of that situation. But the point is, they were the two that got blamed for it, or they were the two that convicted themselves of it. You see what I'm saying? So I would have to say to those parents, if you got grandchildren, or if you're ever able to have grandchildren, have any children, period, which you really don't need to have anything to do with them. But the point is, start being real with these children. Don't let these children dictate your moves, or don't go buy him a new car when he go mess up. He go break in the store, or he go hit somebody in the head. You go buy him a new car and tell him don't do it no more. You can't start buying these kids love. You have to start disciplining these kids. You have to start telling them what's right and wrong. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about. This family, they need to go. And they need to go and have some situation done too. You know what I'm saying? They need to go and be for real with it. They need to start digging just like we did, at digging and asking why did my son have to die? I mean, you know, I know I'm the cause of it. I'm part of it because I should have been more of a parent to go in them rooms and keep checking. You understand what I'm saying? But what they should have did is went on and started investigating like we did. You see what I'm saying? And find out how this got so far. Don't you know the school should have caught this? You understand what I'm saying? Especially when people like us was telling them. We was telling them this getting ready to happen. My children was telling us. That's why we decided to get them out of that school, but we was too late. We lost one.
And what would you say to the other victims' families?
I would say God bless us all. Because we all lost that day. We all went through the same tragedy. That made us family. You understand what I'm saying? That made us, that brought us together because we all lost that day. We all lost important parts of our family. I'm talking about from the coach on down to the last child, mine. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying to those families, I pray to God that you can stay together. And mold as family. And I'm saying this. I've been out of the touch for a while, a long time. But if you ever need me to talk, or if you never need me to do anything, you know you can get contact with me through Micah.
You're going to answer my phone calls now?
Yeah, I will.
All right.
I will.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
My last question for you, because I think people want to know, what are you up to these days, and how is Vonda doing?
Well, she's being Vonda. She's moving on. That's all I can say because she's gonna always be Vonda. You know, she's what keeps her mind going is she takes care of the house and bills. I mean, you know, she's being Vonda. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we have 3 of our grandchildren stay with us now, so she being mother again. So. Mm-hmm. That's the situation.
Are you still doing music?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, you know, not really as much as I should have. I just finished with my, it's been out since 2017, but I finally finished my book, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, The Abandoned Children, it's 560 some pages. So
wow.
I finally finished that. So, and I'm getting ready to start. I'm getting ready to start to open up this organization. You know, I'm seeing how I get it back on route. Maybe I can find me some sponsors, and maybe I can just get some believers again. You know what I'm saying? Say we can do this as a family. We can do this as a nation. We can bring that village back together. Mm-hmm. And I'm not only talking about here in America. Just maybe it'll bleed off on some of the other world.
Yeah. And I've heard the title Reverend used with your name. Are you a reverend?
Yes.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't throw that around too lightly. Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm saying? I am a man of the cloth, but I don't throw it around too lightly because some of the things I need to do, they might not think I'm a reverend.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I'm finna bring it together no matter what. Okay. I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you might not think I'm a reverend once I start talking.
Okay.
Okay.
As we conclude your first interview in over a decade, how do you feel?
Like I need to still say, I got some other things I need to do. I got some other things I need to say. And I want to cry out to the family, now is the time. It's time to make that change. It's time to start walking and stop talking. Let's start coming, bringing this village back together. You understand what I'm saying? That's all I have to say about that.
Anything else you'd like to say about anything else?
No, that's it.
We got it all.
We got it all.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael
Okay.
Shoels.
All right.